Hey everyone, welcome to, we're going to be going to Sandon and Cody. They're ghost towns in the Kootenays. That was a huge town at one time. Well, there were thousands of residents there all along this creek. It was just jam-packed, and it's just about all been wiped out. Between the fires and the creek actually dammed up and wiped out most of the town, the last of it in the 50s. So what you see is what's left. They're just doing a great job there, actually trying to restore it, and they've got some museums and lots of cool stuff to see, and there's just mines everywhere. It's just a real cool place. So this is the city hall on the right there, and there's actually some paranormal investigators doing a TV show. This is the old powerhouse that's still generating power from the 1800s, and they sell it to the grid. This here's the museum up on Carpenter Creek, and there's also, so there's a handful of people living there, some cabins and stuff that they restored. Just a tremendous historic area, and people just love the history there, and they're trying their best to show it to people and to keep the history alive. Lots of iron there. There's a train there, so locomotives. We didn't really get into that. Of course, lots of mines. This is one we found with the drone that we actually went into. We'll show it to you. I don't know what it's called. There's, like I said, there's all kinds of mines. We did lots of exploring around there with a bunch of guys that I was there with. And so, yeah, it's really cool having the drone there. Kind of takes us over. And this is the... there's kind of a concentrator. It's called Yukon Silver, and it hasn't been operated. The last mine closed in 1993, but this company is still around, and they're kind of a junior mining company, so they're trying to resume production, but they've been trying to do that for a long time. So basically they got a pretty fancy concentrator building here. It's not connected to any mine or anything like that. When they last used that, they trucked the ore in to this concentrator here by truck, so they're not sitting on a mine, even though it looks like it would be. All right, so this is downtown Cody. This is the very first place that I ever explored, probably when I was about 25, maybe 30 years ago. And actually we rode our Harleys up here and stayed in this building, and what this was the assayers building. It was a little better shape back then than it is now. We can have a look at it. It's still standing, which is kind of amazing. No, I was wrong. This is actually the assayer's shack where I stayed. That's the other one that kind of didn't look the same, but yeah, this is it for sure. Because this is how I remember it. It was just like this. We're just across the creek from Cody here, and this is where the ore bins are, just a little ways from town. And yeah, it's pretty substantial ore bin that's left here. Not in great shape, and we'll fly over it and have a look at everything from the air here. 30 years ago when I first started exploring mines, this is the very first one I was ever in, so it was a Noble 5. So this is the concentrator, so this is where we kind of started our search to find this mine. I didn't remember where it was exactly, but there was a big tram from the Noble 5, and all the ore came down to this concentrator, which was right on Carpenter Creek, which was pretty much right downtown Cody, basically, where the town was of Cody. I believe the ore came from the Noble 5 to this ore bin here in Cody, and we're going to see if we can find this mine. And it'll be really cool to find because it had there was a raise with a whole bunch of galena in it back then. If we could still get in, it'd be really cool. Looks pretty neat. I've never seen it spiraled like that before. First they started off with a wooden pipe, and this would have been something very difficult to make pipe back then. You look at the windings on here. So that was a generator to generate electricity, obviously. There we go. There's a tram tower. We found a tram tower. Have a look there, see if we can find the mine. Gate. Where's you got a pile of these little gates here? Yeah. And they all still pretty good shape, actually. Let's have a look in here. They're not very wet, just a little bit. Oh, is that ever true? Of course. Probably it.
Collapsed.
Collapsed?
Yeah.
You can't get past it?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Yeah, it's completely collapsed.
It's collapsed there? Okay, yeah. Yeah, steam boiler.
I think we're on the right track, guys.
Yeah, that's a pretty cool boiler.
Yeah. metal in.
Made in Canada, Toronto.
No kidding.
Gurney.
Yeah, that might work, you know.
Even a broken clock is right twice a day. Doesn't drop right.
It's Frank pulling a tree out of our way here. Hopefully he doesn't pull the other tree down.
We were right at the height of land here, and this is what the miners had to deal with back in. It was just like steeper than a cow's face here. I don't know, I'm not sure how many thousand feet we're up here, but this is where all the tram lines from all these mines and stuff were up just about up to the tree line, and we're probably going to run into the snow here pretty soon, and we'll see if we can find some more adits further up the road here. Yeah, we're a long ways above the Sandon now, eh? You can see it way down there, up on the ridge going across here. Lots of mining activity, but I haven't found a big adit we can get into. I hiked up to one, but I didn't go in very far. Beautiful country. Won't find any more spectacular views than around here. There we go. Mines everywhere. And we're just going to have a little breakfast, and we're going to go for a tour of the mines here. So we're going to have a look at this one. So got a couple of people we're going to show a couple of things to, but yeah, so here was a crew carrier here. This mine hasn't been running since the 90s. I guess 93 was the last time there was any mines running in the Sandon area. I think this mine's pretty extensive. It goes in a number of miles. I don't know how far all these guys are going to get, but they want to have a look at this mine. So here's the carrier where the crew sat. There's electric Loki just inside the portal, and this is where all the waste rock and stuff got dumped here. Got a pretty fair sized tracks here. It looks like about I don't know, 110 pound rail or something. There's the rest of the crew. This would be the most people I've ever had in a mine at the same time. I don't know, there must be like 10 of us. 7 machines here. We're all heading into the mine. We're going to have a look at this mine and see how far we can get into this mine. It's a pretty big mine. So this will be the first time when I'm having to follow people. This is an electric motor locomotive. It'll get drier as we go up because it's usually sets at about 3% grade. Here we go. Functional or not, but pretty cool little Loki.
But I think we have to.
No, because mine died.
A lot of loose rock, but it's all bolted up in there. The compressor line's still in here.
Okay, there's a beam hanging down here, guys. Oh, thank you.
It's all bolted up pretty secure. Yeah, fair bit loose in here.
Wiring.
Yeah, lots of tech cable in here. This is just barely sitting on here, I think. Oh, there's a signal there. A green and a red signal. It says signal. Yeah. Oh yeah, it looks like it's going. There's a branch here, I think. Yeah, pretty cool, man. Oh, somebody's going. There. Yeah, for pulling spikes up. Yeah, for pulling railway tracks up. Oh, and this is a track gauge. This is cool. When they're laying the track.
Oh, I see. So they get it.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah. Well, there's going to be some big motors in here, I think, with that tech cable. It's running something.
I think it's out of, oh, it's still green.
Oh yeah, yeah. Oh, we got here some, oh, just a bunch of spikes, odds and ends. Big power distribution box here. Oh, and there's a, oh, there's an electric Loki in here.
Check this out.
Ooh, there's the Loki, yeah. Huh.
Must be the shock or something in here, eh?
Oh yeah.
Oh wow, look at all this stuff.
Well, that's to charge the trains. Yeah, that's a charger. And there she is. Is that 1 unit or 2 units? 2 units. Yeah, they just happen to be sitting together. Well, that's a nice little locomotive. Looks like an MCO mucker.
There's a plate here, but I can't read it.
Yeah, it looks like the one I got. Looks like an MCO. Yeah, it is. That's an MCO.
Back. Fire the rock right into the work cart in the back behind it.
Can't get a make on that Loki, man. That's where the batteries are underneath there.
Hey, there's a hoodie here. Good shape.
Oh, yeah, it's got the Grim Reaper on it. Oh yeah, converter. Oh, that's big, eh?
DC.
Yeah, DC to charge the batteries with the DC.
DC here to.
Okay, guys, I'm gonna wander back and help Hudson get going
Okay.
here.
Lots to like.
But, oh yeah, I'm good. I'll come back with the man later.
Oh, there's, oh, look at the size of that frog, they're huge. Another shop in here, well, that's flooded, it's a water reservoir. So they're stored their water in here. The big crane here. I wonder why that big crane here for.
It's still full of water.
Yeah. Built a dam in here to store water. I think this is kind of lead and silver lines, you know, shiny this stuff is. A little dull color, pretty heavy.
Oh, look at this, eh?
Yeah.
Smooth that is.
Smooth, yeah. Yep. Pretty wet from here on in. Just a little wet there. This power is going. It went past the charging station. It keeps going by. We could end up back in here a long ways. Shouldn't hurt my feelings none. We're just hitting another timbered.
You go first to see if I cave here.
We're just hitting another timbered section here, but this looks pretty solid here. You might have,
You see the old stuff here too.
yeah. They didn't bother taking the bark off of the.
Yeah, look, it's just all.
Split, yeah, cedar. Well, I'm really curious to see where all this power is going.
Look at this little windrow up along here. Kind of different.
Might have just fell out through cracks in the car if they had some real fine material where the door is. It could have just over time the dust is built up. Continue on this way because we are. That's where the compressor line is, and the right-hand rule dictates that we have to go this way.
Here too.
Pretty fuzzy. Yeah, it'll make a nice nest for the rats. Oh, lots of mold in here.
You don't like the water.
Oh, they're to tie two rail cars together. The pins,
Yeah.
Yeah. Joiners for the to hold the rail cars together. Never seen a north chute there, or a raise, whichever. I don't know. We ain't getting up there. Well, we're starting to see some production levels here. There's another one right there. Goes up too. North chute going up that way. Pretty steep.
Looks like vines.
Yeah, it looks like a vine. We thought it was wire, but it's not. It's some kind of organic. I've never seen that in one before. There's some interesting sedimentary formations there, eh? Look at that, that's kind of cool.
Looks like real soft, eh?
Yeah. Not sure how much further we're gonna get here. It looks like there's a big collapse here. Oh yeah. See some veins in there, or a vein.
Deep that is.
Yeah. Doesn't look too bad. Yeah, it was all timbered here, but too much rock fell on it. It ain't timbered no more. It'll get better. And the power line continues. So I'm most curious as to what this power is doing back here. Yeah, another soft section here. There's a collapse, the timbering collapse, but I don't think it's that dangerous. Best not to bunch up, I guess, if it collapses. Somebody should be on the right side of it. Go for help. Oh yeah, the big Granby cars in here. Parked in here. And a big manifold going 2 ways.
Watch this pipe going hang by it. Oh, there's an worksheet there.
Oh yeah, right on. Well, that's interesting. If we can sneak by here. Maybe we have to jump in the cars. I guess these cars, I don't know how they dumped. They didn't have a dump well. There's enough room to squeeze by these cars. Yeah, so they didn't have a dumping well, but I wonder how they dumped them.
That side would lift up and then tip this somehow.
Yeah, I wonder how they tipped them though.
It might be a wheel.
Chain or something maybe.
Right along here.
You might have had to hook a chain onto them and flip them up, eh? And the ram there for the air operated chute gate. Anyway, going up to the top levels. Yeah, I don't think we'll be climbing up there. Yeah, them ladders look a little sketchy. Yeah, we're definitely in the production level here. So they had a little cart or something they could have pulled up there with their tools to get up there. Up to that level there. How much further up it is. Yeah, we're seeing pretty big gates in here. A whole row of them. So we're under a big stope. I see another work cart or something back there. Oh, this is pretty soft section in here. Look how soft this is. Just crumbles. Don't want to dig too far away. Oh, there, Mike. Oh, there's Knox, yeah. Maybe I should take that because we got kind of a bit of a collection of mine after. Yeah, it looks kind of similar to the one I just cleaned up. It's nice shape though.
Yeah, pretty thick still.
Yeah. The one I just cleaned up was
Factor out.
so rusty, yeah. For Megan, we'll take that. Megan O'Gorman, the Irish lass, loves the axes. Yeah, so I think we've come to the end of this branch, anyway.
That's a different type of.
Oh, that's a pelican. It's called a pelican. I've got a couple of them. Yeah, it's for mining out cracks. If you get those small cracks, you can mine it out. Found a safety basket that they use for the miners. Someone's injured or whatever, they have it in here. Oh, blankets.
Little safety stuff.
Yeah, safety.
They're in good shape still.
Yeah, nice blankets. Oh, they're nice and dry. Eh?
Pillow kind of stink. This kind of stinks.
Yeah, we better keep them dry. We might need them for.
Yeah, you never know.
We get injured there. You never know, eh?
Goes with that.
Don't smell real fresh.
No. Guess if you're.
Could use a little bit of that Lysol sanitizer, but they're dry.
Yeah, that's surprising.
That looks pretty unstable.
Yeah, that's a big boulder back there.
Have a peak in there, but problem is usually you have a peak and then you have to keep going. Huh. Yeah, it's all collapsed in here. I wonder how stable that is. I don't know.
Power line.
Oh, yeah.
Broken, I guess.
Huh. Or there's a motor or something here maybe one time.
Well, there's lots of mine cars all over the place here. Oh yeah. Yeah, pretty steep. There's a cable there. Remember one time I used one of them cables to pull myself up and the freaking thing busted?
Oh, jeez.
Because they got rusty and it doesn't take much. You can't come sideways a little bit and they break. See, there's one of these. That's another thing to hook two cars together. Tunnel or whatever you call it. Nope, they just go that far. They only go that little ways. They were drilling it.
Yeah, there's the ghost.
Yeah. Mike thought he heard a ghost, but it turned out there's just water dripping on there. That's our beer right there. Our beer delivery came. Well, whoever delivered it must have got hungry or thirsty. Lost her family. For once we know where we are, so we can't get lost here. See, there's S, so we're thinking that's south, west, and north. So the best thing for us to do is travel east. Well, actually, we really don't have much of a choice because that's the only place to travel goes. Through this caved-in section, kind of held our breath a little. We really wanted to see if we can get further. It's just a soft section that's caved in. Now I've seen a little bit of quartz here, which we haven't seen that much of. A little bit of a narrow vein of quartz. And not as crumbly here either. Till we get to this place where it's all crumbled in. There's sure a lot of cars left in here. And they look in pretty nice shape too. Everywhere. Yeah. Obviously we're on top of another zone. This is kind of cool. It's a kind of a splash, eh? So the rock doesn't go screaming past over the car. This is where this is on phase 3 of the miners game. This is a slalom, so you got to run as fast as you can without touching any of these. You just go back and forth like this, eh? Yeah. Miners slalom.
It's dark. Yeah, it's halfway along the wall.
And a little narrow band of quartz in here. So. These caved in sections, we've seen quite a few of them. When you get in there, you sure got no, it's the sound just muffled, eh? There's no echo at all when you get in them caved in sections. Just because the rock's so soft that it absorbs all the sound waves. No smoking. I wasn't thinking of lighting up a fag anyhow. At some point, I guess you have to ask her. Solves the question, how much further are we going to go? There seem to be any shows, any sign of ending anytime soon, eh?
Yeah, just a lot of that mesh hanging down now.
Well, let's go for another 5 minutes and we'll turn around now. It's always satisfying to get to the end of something. Yeah. And then say, oh, well, that's done. We've explored all that. Otherwise, we might have to come back again. Yeah, which wouldn't be too bad. You know, it's pretty crumbly sections. You know, people talk about, you know, rotten timbers and using up the oxygen, having bad air. But if there's a place that would have that, it'd be here. And the oxygen levels are stable, even though it feels warm in here and there's no air. But I think I'll show you how punky and how rotten these things are here. They just completely rotted. So, it doesn't seem to be affecting the oxygen levels none. At least the alarm hasn't went off and it still works. Yeah, still works. I found another cool area here. The big tank, air tank. Yeah. Well, yeah, there's probably levels. Not even that steep, really, but I think this would be a kind of a plan for another day. We're so far in here now, but we could, wouldn't be that hard to find our way in here again.
That would be close to a air source, wouldn't it?
Something. Yeah. Pretty big fan.
Well,
Long trip in here, eh, Mike?
yeah.
We figured we've been in here about 3 hours so far walking around here. And more or less just on one level. So, yeah, just on one level. We haven't went up to any other levels. Okay, we're just at this big cave and we gotta go back in, so show you how much fun it is going through these cave-ins. Pretty soft in here. Deep water, rotten timbers, soft rock. It's all fun though. A pretty sketchy section, but hopefully he'll make it through, or I gotta find another way out. Now, as you can see, she's pretty soft in here. Almost looks like some bit of serpentinite almost, eh? Really soft material. So this is all falling off the back, which makes this a really unstable section where nobody should ever go in, right? But anyways, that is not good. But gotta get out, so. Probably shouldn't talk too much. Here, a thud just put a cross there somewhere. Not funny. Hope it doesn't have fudge fall, anyways. Yeah, that was the worst section in this mine. I haven't really seen worse sections in many other mines either. But we're glad we made it through here. The main reason we did is because we've seen all the power lines. We've seen the power lines and the compressor lines going in here. So we're wondering where the hell it went. Now we know. Looks like you worked up a pretty good sweat.
Yeah.
Either that or the water's dripping on you.